have a 4100U. We're going to replace the audio controller board today. The reason that I was called out on this service call is because the amplifiers in this cabinet here, as you can see, we have two Flex 50 amplifiers, a power supply. In the next bay, the same thing, and the bottom bay, the same thing. This is for the entire building. These amplifiers were randomly going into a stage 2 fault, or stage 2 input fault, and then clearing at random. I wasn't sure what was going on, and this 4100U has always been a little bit of a strange thing to me, or an unknown thing to me, because it was pretty much set up to where you have the audio controller card, you have your PDI board in the back, and you have your audio harnesses that leave here and daisy chain through, I don't know if you can see that or not, but through each one of these PDI boards for the amplifiers. So there is no real harnessing that you have to do. There's no real adjustments or anything. It's pretty much just an audio source, whereas with the 4100 Plus I could adjust my output. I knew what my output voltage was. It was 500 millivolts, and it went into your amplifiers, and you could adjust your amplifiers with a little pot and get that to your 25 watt output. But everything here is pretty much fixed, and you can see they put little beads of silicone on all of the little pots, so you can't or you shouldn't mess with them. As this audio controller here, as you can see, excuse me, I did peel that off, and I did mess with these, and I did try to turn up channel 2 as far as I could go, and I did get it up a little bit to keep the amplifiers clear. But what I've learned was that the output signal on the audio controller board should measure around 10 volts AC, and that's across the board. So what I was told was, back here in the PDI board on these terminals here, if you go to the very last two pins, which is going to be 7 and 14, okay, 7 and 14, let me get my meter on there. I will put that in those two pins right there, and you'll see I'm getting a 3.6 volts. Okay, that is nowhere near 10. 3.6 is enough to keep the amplifiers happy, and when I adjusted the pot up, it seemed to have kept them clear since my last service call, because I just checked the history. So 3-some volts will satisfy the amplifier, but it really should be 10. Now if we look at pins 6 and 13, it's going to be for channel 1, and you can see right now channel 1 is giving me 8.39, and that's still a little low. So what we're going to do here is we have our new audio controller board to replace into here, and then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to download, and I have the computer all set up. Oh, wake up, wake up. Oh, here we go. I got to reboot. Anyway, we had that set up, and then we're going to download directly to this card the audio data files. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get busy and replace this board here. And I guess we'll start by, I guess we want to power this bay down. We like to power the bays down. Actually, it's a good idea to power the whole thing down. Just to check everything out before we get started here. Okay, and we'll go ahead and we'll get started, and then we'll be right back as soon as I had this board replaced. The system down, and now we're going to replace the board. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect. Looks like only one connector here. Okay, and we have 4 screws. This is pretty pretty basic, pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to remove the 4 screws here. A little bit dark in there. I hope you all can see, but you're not missing much. I'm just taking screws out. So. Like I said, while I'm doing this, I like to make these videos in real time. I like to go to a customer site and do a service call and walk in here and just turn on the camera and let it roll, and whatever happens, happens. To me, it's better than the perfect instructional world, you know, in the classroom. I'm actually in the field and anything can happen. So, all right, now that I have this board out, what we want to do here is we need to remove this memory card. Okay, and there's 2 little clips here that we can pull out, and at the same time gently bend the card backwards and the memory card comes out. Okay, the old board, and the same way with the new board is we're going to put this in at an angle. Okay, seated in there nicely, and you hear it snap into place. There's a good chance this is a good board because the factory put end-of-line resistors in there, so that means they actually probably tested this board before it went out. Yeah, anytime you see a board without end-of-line resistors in it, you know, they took it off the assembly line and threw it in the box, and the way it went. I've already set the dip switch for the address. That is about the only thing we need to set here, and we'll go ahead and pop this bad boy back in there again and screw it up. Let's see if I can let you know this card just doesn't look like it's all the way. I'm just not happy with that. Yeah, there we go. See, there's a, you hear that click? I didn't have it all the way seated. That would have been a little bit of an issue. All right, there we go. I feel it, and I'll put my thumb here and get that nice and tight in that connector. I never feel like they go all the way in the connectors. I just have a bad feeling about that. So now we'll get the screws in. Most important is the earth ground screw. Yeah, it pisses me off when I see people taking screws out. You know, that's you're not doing your job. You know, your job is to find the ground fault. You know, and if you're taking screws out and booby trapping the panel, you're not doing your job. Anybody can do that. A real technician will go out there and find that ground fault. So make sure all them screws are in there good. Nice and tight, but not too tight. See, my amplifiers, my other cabinet's still alive, so you can see that all the amplifiers went into trouble. You see all them yellow lights. Hopefully we can get them all to go away. But I'm going to be interested in reading this voltage from this new controller board on the bus and see what kind of improvement we're getting, or what we get off of that. Okay, that's all we had was that one connector, if I remember correctly. And I think we're good to go. So, all right, time to put the juice to it. Let's find these connectors and slam them in. Oh yeah, bam. All right, panel's going to come back to life. I know we're going to have some troubles. I know there's going to be a trouble because it's going to say there's something about a file missing, audio file missing. It's not going to be happy when it comes up. Let this thing come up. We'll let it steady out. It's coming back to life. I got a riser 2 open. Wow. This thing's really going in and out on me. I say, this is what I'm talking about. I replace a brand new board and you don't expect this to happen. Analog riser open. And it's abnormal. And it seems to be intermittent between 1 and 2. Huh. Ain't that something? Wonder why that is. Is that my only 2 troubles? That's kind of strange. Let's look into this for a second here. All right. There's my resistors. Yeah, they're 10Ks. That's the correct resistor. Why would I be getting an intermittent trouble like that? Or it clears and it goes back and forth. This is a brand new board, everybody. Yeah, we might be canning this thing, putting the old one back in. Yeah, this might be a bad out of the bag board. Sure, the resistors are nice and tight. And that's something. And it's not only that one, it's both of them. Yeah, because it's both of them doing it. 1 and 2. There's the mismatch. Yeah. Riser 1 open, riser 2 open. Okay, well, we're going to do a little investigating on this. Just wondering if I can stabilize this by moving this resistor off so I can get the intermittency out of here. Okay, now I should be able to leave it that way. Now it shouldn't come and go on me. So I got 3 troubles. I got my intermittent open circuit trouble on the 2 risers and my message library. Okay, so now we're going to get ready and download to the library. I'm going to ignore this for the time being, and then we're going to come back and see, we'll check the value of these resistors and make sure they're correct. We'll be right back. Found with the trouble with the resistors here. I pulled a resistor off of the old board that was normal the whole time, and when I read this resistor, it reads 4.6K. Okay. I'll have to look this up in the book and see what the proper resistance value is for these end-of-line resistors if we're going to close out the things. But what was installed in a brand new board that was supposedly factory tested and showing normal was a 10K. And we're supposed to have 4.6Ks in there. Let's replace this and see if that don't clear the problem. So this is telling me that they stuck some resistors in there to make it look good, and they stuck the wrong resistors in there. What a fucking moron. I'll tell you what, back in the day, this wouldn't happen. All right, looks like one of my troubles cleared. Yeah, let's get this one out of there. Yeah, let's get this one off the old one. Now the bottom ones are 10Ks, and the bottom ones over here are 10Ks. Yeah, it looks like 10Ks. Yeah. Yeah, they're 10Ks, okay. So I'm going to have to double check and see what the proper value of the riser resistor is. If it's like 4.6K, I'm thinking, or at least the 4.6Ks are happy here. Oh, now what? I got another trouble coming in. Message library. I know, it failed. Okay, the message library failed. That's because we don't have anything in there. Give me a minute here. All right, I got two troubles. Message library version mismatch, and it failed. All right, so I think when we upload to this, that should clear all that trouble out. At least we got rid of this this little trouble here. Look, I didn't put that in there right. Yeah, buddy. Always got to pull on your resistors and make sure that they're in there good. You know, be honest and do it and give it an honest pull. Don't give it a fake pull. All right, I think we're ready to download. Okay, this is something I don't do every day, so I'm a little slow at this too. So I do most of this out of memory. I have the job pulled up. It's a 120802. Okay, and we're going to go straight to the file transfer. First thing we want to do is go to settings. Okay. And we want to take the baud rate, take it from 19.2, we want to take that up to 11.5,200. Okay, we'll change that to that. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is select audio data, and we make it full. Okay, it automatically brings the MSB file into the thing, and we want to go direct to slave. Okay, and then we're going to select download. I get my warning message, and we are at the start. So let's hold on for a second. And we want to download direct to the slave, and that would be right there. And what I'm looking for is the 1. And it looks like the 1's on the top. 1's on the top side, so I can take my arrow and line that up with the 1. Make sure I had the connector in properly. Okay, and we'll hit the start. Oh, wait a minute. No, we can't hit the start. Nah. Here's the secret. Here's the big secret. Okay. We are going to go to dip switch number 1. Okay. Dip switch number 1 is actually our baud rate switch. Okay, and what we do is we flip it off. We flip it back. Okay, and then we flip it back off again. And then we hit start. And cross your fingers. I got a message to send, unable to transfer. And I'm getting a boatload of trouble, so I didn't do it right. I did not do that right. Okay. Let's try again. Maybe I did not do it fast enough. Okay, so let's put this back up. Okay, and what I want to do is wait for the board to clear. Wait for everything to clear all the way. Looks like I have a boatload of troubles. It looks like all my amplifiers failed on that one, which they did. So let's let this thing stabilize, and we'll give this another try. Yeah. This is why we do this in the field. We don't do this every day. I don't do it every day. So it takes me a couple times to get it right too. All right, that cleared. I don't know if my amplifiers are going to clear or not. And I don't know if we're going to get a default supervisory tone on there. They are clear before. But I'm kind of happy to go with this again. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the download. Okay, direct to slave. Download, continue, and we're going to get right to the start. And now we're going to try this again, but maybe I'm going to go a little faster this time. Okay, down, up, down. Let's try that. There, we got double click. Let's see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed. Unable to open file. Transfer aborted. Oh man, okay. Now we got to go back to the drawing board. We're unable to open the file for some reason this time around. Okay, so we're going to have to do some research on this, and we'll come back. And found out what the problem was, why we did not have a file. And it all became clear to me that what was backed up on this USB stick was from a job that somebody had pulled out of the panel. So somewhere along the line, one of our previous technicians did not have a copy of the job that was supposed to be in the panel, so he downloaded it from the panel, made his changes, and then saved it, and now we have everything saved but our audio files. So I was instructed to go to my audio controller card and go to my data entry and go to edit message data. From there I had to go to the librarian, and it asked me, and then we went to, as you can see, the librarian, it was completely empty. So what we did was select open, and we selected a chipset and brought it into the program, and at that point we were able to build our audio file. So now that we have our audio file built, we're going to attempt this once again. After this was built, I did build the whole entire job again. And so now we're going to select upload, download. Once again, I'm going to say audio data, full audio data. Okay. Select direct to slave. Okay, we have our folder in there. Let's double check. Okay, yeah. If I back out of here, we are at Aurora Audio, and the file does exist. Okay, so very good. We'll just make sure that file's in there. Okay, and now we're going to hit download. Skip through the error message, and we're going to get to the start. And once again, we're going to go to the audio controller, hit switch 1 down, up, down, and we get the double blink, and hit the start, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed again. Waiting for an audio slave card. Okay. No trouble, card mission or failed. I don't see any blue dots, so I'm not happy yet. I don't have that warm, fuzzy feeling yet. We've been waiting an awful long time. Well, audio slave did not. Please check the connection and check the slave is offline. If these are okay, then reset the audio slave. Okay. Let's cancel, and we will let that go online once again. We want this board to clear, and we'll be right back. My problem was, okay, as you can see, we're downloading. It's going to take a little while to download this audio file, and you can see that the little yellow light's blinking quick, but see how to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you what my mistake was. I did not see this stupid little fucking jumper right here. This jumper was in the wrong spot. It was between 1 and 2, which was, it looks like 56K, and it should have been between 2 and 3, which is 11.5. So this is setting my baud rate up, and I set the baud rate on my file transfer, but I had the baud rate set on the wrong one here. So after setting that up, everything seemed to work just beautiful. Lesson to be learned. So we'll let this download, and then after everything's downloaded, we're going to check our voltage on our amplifiers and see if we're up to where we should be, as far as voltage wise goes. So I will return as soon as this is downloaded. Don't want to bore you with all this, so I will return. Or should I say, download has completed. Well, we'll go ahead and disconnect our cable and put our switch up. Alright, now I've got this funny feeling, since we had to rebuild the entire job, just as a process, we may get some type of a version mismatch between my program, with my fire panel and audio card. And it might be a good idea to just go ahead and upload the latest and greatest into this panel at the same time. That way when I back it up, I'll have a really good clean backup on a USB drive, so the next person don't run into the same issues I ran into. Alright, the card's getting ready to clear. Should hear a click in a second. Here's a little click sound. We're waiting. We're waiting patiently. Very patiently. Yep, it just cleared, I believe. So some of my other troubles should be clearing out of here. As soon as it realizes that the library version is not mismatched anymore. Let's take a look at our voltage and see if we get a voltage back. I do not see the voltage. I do not see any voltage at either one of these two outputs. I think what we're going to do here, okay, is we're going to do a reboot of this whole system here. Okay? We're going into the service mode. Okay? And now we're going to go to panel restart. I want to do a cold start. I want to clear this thing out as far as I can. Yep, we're having a day here. Yep, once again, I like to start the camera rolling. And whatever happens, happens, because this is the real world. You know, it's not the picture-perfect classroom where you go in and replace the audio board in one shot and everything works perfectly smooth. There's a lot of ifs, ands, you know. I don't have time and date anymore. Okay, this thing's starting up. I did a cold start, so it should have lost everything. Time and date's not even set. See what time it is. It is 12:47. All right. '21. Would you believe it? I remember putting 98 in there years and years and years ago. Oh, look at this. Everything looking pretty clear. I got one trouble. I got message library version mismatch. Why would I have a message library version mismatch? It's awful strange. I want to check out my voltages again. I'm really curious to see. Look at that. I got my 10 volts there. And I got my 10 volts there. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. Now, this library mismatch is going to be another hurdle that I have to get over. I have to make sure at this point that I have the correct library message bin files matched up with what we have in the program, and I'm going to do some research on that now and get that straightened out, and we might have to do another download to the audio card to get that straight, but we're going to work on that, and then we'll get back to you on that one. See ya! The last little piece to get this thing correct was, like I said a little earlier, I thought I was going to have to do, and I was correct. I had to download, since I built the job again, I had to download the job one more time, and now it's matched up with the audio controller board, and all the versions are happy, all the information is in there like it's supposed to be. Once again, I'm going to check these. I'm not sure if you can see this or not. I'm going to put my head up and down, but the last two there, terminal 7 and 14 are channel 2 input, audio input. Should be 10 volts, and it's coming 1006. Channel 1 is 13 and 6, 1007. If you're measuring on the bottom one, it's just the opposite, as you can see. And that you can measure that on any PDI board that has audio plugged into it. So I hope this helped. I'll tell you what, it's helped me. I learned a lot today because I've always been told never to pull the program out of a 4100U panel that has audio. They said it's okay if it doesn't have audio, you can pull it out, but if you pull it out of one that don't have audio, then you're not pulling your audio files out. And that's definitely needed in a situation if replacing the audio board. And somebody did that not knowing that, and he got away with it back then. And now I'm paying the price for it today, but now I understand. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Whoop. I'm still on site. I did a little more research. Come to find out, we are in a county that has a special message, a special chipset, not a standard chipset. That's what we have loaded in here. So what I did was I went onto our server in the office and I found an old archived copy of the job. I was able to upload it onto my computer and export this custom message file or chipset and put it into a folder on my C drive called Messages in its own folder. And then remove that program and of course install my latest and greatest program on here and import that file back in here. Now I have the custom messages loaded, and what I'm going to have to do is another download to the audio controller and another download to the panel, and then we'll be 100% correct as far as this audio card replacement goes. It's been taking me all day because of somebody. What a previous technician did was they forgot to, or they lost the backup, so they pulled the program out of the audio panel. And you should never pull a program out of an audio panel because you don't get the audio files along with it. And it's going to create problems further down the road. And today we're down the road. So let's go with the audio controller card first. So what we'll do is we'll go into our download thing. First thing I want to do is settings. Get that up to 11.5.200 to there. Download. Get my warning message. Oh, wait a minute, cancel. You're going too fast. Let's go to audio data full. Okay, and we want to use the direct service port. Okay, now download. And we get the message, and we'll stop there. And we'll get our download cable that I've been keeping out for a while. And we're going to plug that in there. And we're pretty good at this now. You ready? Switch number 1. Down. Up. Down. And hit start. And waiting on audio slave card. And there it goes. It's downloading. Do it like a pro, like I do this every day. That's the audio card going into trouble there. Okay, so now this is going to take a while to download. So after this, we'll download to the panel, and then everything will be back to normal, and then we should be able to wrap this call up for the day. Have a good one. Whoop!